Men, this ain't a Mayday men, but this is a be aware men. This is a PSA to all men. I feel like I should just make y'all aware. If your woman has a fake rose in her house, if she has a plastic type rose in her house, this is a PSA Mayday. This is a Mayday. That's not just any rose. That's not a scented rose. That's not a candle rose. That's not a rose just for emotion. That is a rose for emotional support. This is called the rose. I just found out today amongst some discussion that these roses are popular. Now, this rose is there when we are not on our best behavior. This rose is there when we just ain't doing our job. This rose is the new she might leave you, bruh. This rose itself got 10 different functions. This rose itself is waterproof. So while she in there reading her book, eating her charcuterie boards, that's meat, cheese, fruit, and honey on a wooden board platter. If you didn't know, that's a charcuterie. While she in that bathtub and bubble baths everywhere, and you just like, oh, look at her. She looks so relaxed. She looks so comfortable. I'm not bothering her. There's a rose under that water that's doing things that you could never, ever do. This rose has vibration capabilities. This rose has suction cup capabilities. I'm talking about no vacuum cleaner ever created. I'm talking about space type suction. I'm talking about black hole type suction. This rose has the ability to suck her stomach through her womb with no problem daily, without any problem. This rose is waterproof, scuba diving waterproof. And then they can clean it and put it right next on the dresser and we'll never know. We'll never know. The rose, this rose, I want you to pay attention to this picture. This looks harmless, fellas. This looks harmless. What can this rose do to you? For Valentine's Day, when she said, you know what? All I want is one single rose. And you went to that store and you found the most beautiful, most exotic, most important. I got a rose from the planet of Jupiter. I went up there in an astronaut suit and spent money for this rose. And they were still upset. Now I know they ain't talking about rose from the Titanic. They ain't talking about the rose that grew through the concrete like Tupac was talking about. They ain't talking about rose from the dead. They ain't talking about... They talking about this 10, it can do 10 different things, 10 different speeds, 10 different movements, and it has a suction capability. You know, men in the 80s, they had to deal with Bush and just regular toys. Men in the 90s, that was when porn was introduced, but then they were okay. The early 2000s, that's when things got larger and they added curves and they added more plastic so it can have a harder feel. And then they added veins to make it more... We, in this day and age, in 2000, we have to deal with a rose, a flower that has the ability to suck, waterproof, water resistant, and can do 10 different speeds and movements. I want to boycott this rose. Fellas, go through your woman's drawer. If you find a rose, that's just not any flower. She putting a flower on her flower. You about to lose your flower to a flower. It was fun.